is Jalen Rose. I'm David Jacoby. We are Jalen Jacoby. What is it that we do?
We give the people what they want.
We have some very intriguing preseason football games tonight to get you ready for, but I was looking down at my phone when this magical tweet passed my timeline. It is from the Dallas Cowboys official account. Again, the official account says it's not a setback and it's not a reason to worry, but QB Dak Prescott is planning on getting another MRI. Jalen Rose, that sounds to me like a setback, and it definitely sounds like a reason to worry. What do you think about this tweet from the Cowboys?
So here's one of the things when you have a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate, right? You can have one social media person who's responsible for posting this that isn't Pat Gunther. You know what I'm saying? Because Project Pat wouldn't have allowed this to happen. You know what I mean? Our guy wouldn't have done this. Because this is a reason to worry, by the way.
Yes.
Anytime your starting quarterback is already limited to how much he can throw, and then now it goes from being limited in practice to now needing an MRI. When the season starts, Jacoby, injuries don't subside. Okay, you just get used to playing with them. I talked to Michael Irvin about this yesterday. I'm like, playmaker, this is not good for your Dallas Cowboys. And I understand the social media person, they just wanted to paint a positive spin. That's all. Don't get mad at the social person. They're just trying to paint a positive spin.
There is no positive spin on this whatsoever. And another problem with this is Jalen Rose. I watched the Hall of Fame game between the Steelers and the Cowboys. And do you know who I saw under center for the Cowboys? Garrett Gilbert and the god Ben DiNucci. We don't need more Gilbert and DiNucci under center for the Cowboys. And right now, it looks like we might see a little bit more Ben DiNucci than we expected to in the 2021-2022 season.
That is not good for Cowboys at all. But one thing that is good for Dallas, they got a weak schedule, Jacoby. They do have a weak schedule, but it ain't going to matter without Dak. You know it, and I know it. We saw that last year, and the backup then was Andy Dalton. The guys you just said sound like a law firm.
They really do. And another thing is Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott didn't have a great season last year. Every single person that owns him in fantasy knew that. And I am concerned that without Dak, so much the defense can load up on Elliott and he'll be clogged once again. Hopefully the O-line being healthy will help solve that. Jalen, we have some football tonight. Very intriguing matchup between the Washington football team and the New England Patriots. Focus on the Patriots starting quarterbacks. We have Cam Newton and rookie Mac Jones. What do you think about this QB position? Is it Cam Newton's or is it still up for grabs?
Dog, let me tell you something. This is Cam Newton's job. He's the seasoned veteran, the former MVP that was in the system last year. If you're going to give your top flight rookie the gig, you might as well not even have Cam on the squad. They're two different style of players. And so, therefore, I believe, even though they have not announced it, Cam will be the guy, not the other way around. You don't start the season with mac and cheese, and then he struggles, and you like, hey, Cam, in the third quarter with 2 minutes to go, it's like, hey, Cam, can you get in there? No, that works in reverse. So I believe this is Cam's job. And also, this is going to be a proving ground as well, Jacoby. Can this propel him to continue to be a starting quarterback and continue to have quality seasons? Or now would this relegate him to a different role that he hasn't seen?
A few things on this in response to what you said. Number one, I always say you can be mean if you're funny, and mac and cheese is mean and funny. So I'm going to let that one go. Okay. Number two, you mentioned this. They're two very different style of quarterback. Like, we all know what Cam can do, but Mac Jones is more of a traditional throwing quarterback. And number three is they brought Cam back intentionally. It's not like they signed him to a 3-year deal and he's on the second year of it. Like, they wanted Cam Newton there, so I have to assume they want him to start week 1. And number 3, I'd be concerned about going up against the Washington football team because they've got Montez Sweat and Chase Young. And those two rushers get after the quarterback. I would be terrified whether I was Cam, whether I was mac and cheese. I do not want to go up against these two when they're on the line.
I gotta tell you guys a secret. I went to the University of Michigan and I watched every one of their football games. I've seen way too much of the Bosa brothers and Chase Young, dog. I know once they got to the league, people like, oh my God, what amazing players. Like, these dudes have a chance, him and Sweat, to go after that duo sack record. Like, that's legitimate. I remember being a youngster and Mark Gastineau and Joe Klecko, the New York Sack Exchange, and then all of a sudden, you know, the sack became something of glory. But this is what Washington is doing, and I want everybody to pay attention to. This is not like trying to win it the way the Ravens won it when they had Trent Dilfer at quarterback and they won with their defense. I'm going to tell you what they're doing, Jacoby. I look at this as build it and they'll come. See the Denver Broncos when they added Peyton Manning. You see these musical chairs happening with quarterbacks around the league. We don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers, what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson. There are going to be musical chairs at the quarterback spot. And all Washington's going to have to do is boot Ryan Fitzpatrick out of the way and bring in their guy to take them to the next level. I like what they're doing.
Jalen, whenever there is disrespect to another Jalen, I know you take it personal. I know you take it personal. So we have the Philadelphia Eagles not even naming Jalen Hurts the starting quarterback yet. Jalen Rose, why this disrespect to your namesake?
I don't understand this. So, dog, this is leadership 101, Jacoby. I know, like, when you become a new head coach and you want to come in and make everybody think they're competing for their jobs. But all positions in football in particular are not created equal. You have a young quarterback that you should be building up his confidence to the team, to the fans, to the media. And you ready for this? To himself. We know he's going to be the guy. Don't play these mental manipulation games. And the Philadelphia Eagles ain't winning the Super Bowl this year. I hate to break the news. They're not winning the Super Bowl this year.
They're not winning the East.
So don't try to act like he the scapegoat already. Nah, they got a lot of issues with that football team, more than just the starting quarterback.
I understand not naming your starting quarterback for week one at this point in the preseason. I don't understand it when your backup is Joe Flacco. You have a young player, runner-up for the Heisman, showed promise when he started last year, and the other guy is Joe Flacco. Maybe Nick Mullins is who they're talking about. I think Jalen Hurts is going to end up being the quarterback. I don't know why they don't commit to him now. They should, and we'll see how he performs tonight against the Steelers in a preseason game. Another very interesting game we have tonight is in Major League Baseball. The Field of Dreams game between the New York Yankees and the Chicago White Sox will be played on the Field of Dreams Field, where they filmed the movie, the classic movie I have seen dozens of times. Mr. Rose, are you excited for this game, and have you seen Field of Dreams?
I just said if you build it. I'm glad we can talk about the Yankees, and Reg, I'm pretty sure, is happy. I noticed we ain't talking about them when they were struggling or when they was getting swept by the Tigers earlier in the year. But have I seen Field of Dreams? Let me see. I'm not going to be able to do it!
Brace yourself. Jalen Rose is about to explain a movie plot.
This is one of my favorite segments from our history that we have since retired. But Jalen Rose, we're bringing it back for this. Jalen Rose explains the movie plot. Please explain the plot to Field of Dreams. Classic film.
So you teed it up off of baseball. You know, America's pastime. So I believe you gotta have great Yankees. So there has to be some Lou Gehrig, some Babe Ruth footage in there. You know what I mean? Like nostalgia baseball, right? And in order for us to win the World Series, all of us have to sprint through this cornfield.
Yes, how'd you know?
At the same time.
How'd you know?
It don't matter what you run into, what's in the field. It could be livestock, it could be whatever. If you find a way to make it through the field, you can be a champion. That's the Field of Dreams.
Jalen, I don't know how you can explain to a T the exact plots of these films that you have never seen. That is exactly the plot of Field of Dreams. If you don't cry at the end of Field of Dreams, then I don't respect you. Coming up next on Jalen Jacoby, we have a quarterback competition between Jameis Winston and someone who covers punts for the Saints. Name Taysom Hill. We'll break that down right after this. Coming to you live from the Seaport District of New York City and brought to you by Chase. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, we've had our eye on this all preseason. The quote-unquote quarterback competition in New Orleans for the Saints. Both quarterbacks spoke to the media, and here's what they had to say.
When do you think you'll know the decision?
I have no idea. And question for Coach. I think in all these things and in this training camp it's a control what you can control, and that's been my mindset from day one.
Do you have any idea when they'll make a decision and tell you guys?
No, but I know I'm going to keep balling and doing my best until they do.
Jalen, what do you think about this quarterback battle in the Big Easy?
Jameis Winston just tempted. Just tempted by saying, I'm going to keep balling. In other words, I know I'm killing, and I know I'm doing stuff with my arm that this guy just can't do. He know it, I know it, and they know it. You see the big smile on his face, right? And you remember the whole saying, that the old saying is if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have one. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be a bad thing for the Patriots when they have Mac Jones and Cam on the field at certain times. And it's not going to be bad for this team either when they have both of these quarterbacks on the field, Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston at the same time. Anticipate seeing them both. But the lion's share of the starting quarterback job has to go to Jameis Winston, in particular if Michael Thomas is going to miss any time. Because if that's the case, and you got Taysom Hill lining up under center, Alvin Kamara won't have a chance to consistently get the kind of productivity that he normally gets because they're going to be stuffed in the line of scrimmage.
See, Jalen, I absolutely think that Taysom Hill should play week 1 for the New Orleans Saints. But I think like 3 snaps, maybe 4 snaps. You know, this should be Jameis Winston's job, and they should throw him in for some wildcat stuff and put him at tight end and have him cover punts. You see the numbers right there. There are some glaring differences. And don't even talk to me about career touchdowns, career yards, and things of that nature. You did mention Michael Thomas. There is a bit on an update of his status. Apparently, for a while there, he was not communicating with the team. However, seems like he has gotten together and they're going to try to sort of mend these fences. What do you think about this tension between Thomas and the Saints?
Well, it's never good when the organization isn't in communications with one of their best players. We talked about this with the Philadelphia 76ers and Ben Simmons not returning the team's calls, not returning teammates' calls, and now we're talking about this with Michael Thomas. So you hope if you're a Saints fan, after you just signed him to the contract that you just signed him to, and last season he didn't clearly play the way he was playing the year prior when he broke the receptions record, you got to at least try to mend this fence, even if their goal is to trade him. You still at some point got to get him back out on the field to play for his value. And you know one thing Jameis can do that Drew Brees couldn't do? Throw the deep ball.
Throw deep.
Throw the deep ball. And I'm pretty sure he'd be excited to catch those from Jameis. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
I would love to see Michael Thomas look at the playbook and be like, wait a second. You want me to run downfield? You don't want me to run hitches and crosses and slants? You want me to run 15, 20 yards down the field and then catch the ball?
Right.
Amazing.
I'm actually be tired when I get back to the huddle?
Yeah, exactly. I would love to see that for the Saints, but most importantly, I would love to see Michael Thomas get back on the field. But Jalen, you've been talking about the tension between Thomas and the Saints and Thomas and Brees for about a year and a half now. You're just making it all up. You're trying to get him to the Lions. I see what you're doing. You're trying to get him to the Lions. I know your game. I know your game, young man. That ain't gonna work for me.
Oh, by the way, you ready for this? Shout to Megatron. Saw him at the Dave Chappelle show last night since we're talking about all-time great receivers.
Jalen, the producers would not let me lead the show with this, but I really, really wanted to. It is the announcement that J.R. Smith is going to North Carolina A&T, which is great. I'm glad that he's joining HBCU. I'm glad that he's going to pursue his education. But he also wants to play on the golf team. Jalen Rose, what do you think about not just him continuing his education, but being a student athlete?
I just want young people to always recall adults that continue to reinvent themselves. That's the important thing here. The other thing is being an influence to the people that he's going to be classmates with, the people that he's going to be on the golf team with, the acclaim and the publicity that he's going to bring to school. Oh, I just thought about something though. Hold on, I just thought of a problem.
What's the problem? What's the problem?
I just thought of a problem.
What?
He's going to be an NCAA athlete, right?
Yeah? What's the problem?
That means he's going to have to fail, or he's going to have to pass drug tests then.
That might be an issue.
Oh man, it's a failed test.
That might be an issue.
You know what? I was excited
on drug
first.
test.
How
He's
is
gonna get a
this
special
gonna
exemption. He needs a special exemption. If you're gonna put J.R. Smith on the golf team, he needs a special exemption. I love J.R. Smith so much, and I think one thing that gets overlooked because of his joyous personality and his celebrations and his time with LeBron is what a long, productive NBA career this man had. But man,
also,
I really hope they're not testing on the golf course.
He reinvented his game too. Like, he was a terrific doing a 360 out of high school type athlete that became a knockdown three-point shooter. So I'm glad to see my guy getting championship parade love, and I'm happy that he's going back to further his education.
It is time to show me some Shohei. Jalen Rose, our guy, Shohei Ohtani, hit another home run last night. However, it came in a 10-2 loss. It's his 38th home run. They've got Mike Trout. They've got Shohei Ohtani. They're 8.5 games back in the wild card. That seems to be a lost cause. So what do they do? What is next for this organization with these two superstars?
Shohei, I got you. I know all of the other shows want to talk about the Cowboys and LeBron and Tom Brady and the Patriots. I don't care what place y'all in. I don't care what they're going to do to build around you and Mike Trout. As long as they have y'all, they're going to be good at some point. Really good. I ain't worried about it, dog. They have a guy that can throw 100 miles an hour with his right hand and hit the ball 400 feet with his left hand. I ain't worried about it. They'll figure it out. They'll figure it out.
Oh, I'm worried. They need some starting pitching. They need some defense. They need some other bats in the lineup. They need a lot to be able to. But when you have Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout, that is when you spend. When you have the foundation superstars, that is when you spend the money to get your team to not be this little brother in Los Angeles, which they certainly are right now to the Dodgers. Jalen Rose.
Get a Padres.
Summer League is
They
happening.
love.
Summer League is happening. And we have sudden death finishes. My guy, Max Strus, finishing with a walk-up three.